My name is Tyler Branham, and this is Emily Kincer. And our micro-credential through KBEC is called Delivering Virtual Math Accommodations. Now, what the earner is going to do, the person who selects this particular micro-credential, after learning about the different types of accommodations and specifically accommodations that deal with virtual instruction and instruction in a hybrid setting, and specifically in the content area of math, they'll learn about those different types of accommodations, and they will design a lesson and then teach that lesson. And during that lesson, they're going to videotape that lesson along with some written requirements also. And so the breakdown of this is that this micro-credential focuses on providing support and examples for delivering accommodations in a virtual setting. And in general, accommodations are tools or procedures that provide equal access to instruction. It doesn't change what the student is learning, but it changes how the student learns. And so the requirements for completing this micro-credential is the earner is going to design and teach a virtual math lesson that intentionally embeds aligned math accommodations. They'll write a research narrative exploring the use of accommodations. They'll also design a lesson embedding those accommodations and submit a video teaching the lesson that can be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. And then at the end, provide a reflection. The method component, the educator will understand the different types of accommodations, like I spoke about before. There are 4 different types that is generally used. And specifically, they're going to learn about virtual accommodations that can be delivered virtually and in hybrid settings. One really good quote that I saw, whenever this pandemic started and a lot of teaching went online and virtual or hybrid, I love this quote. A lot of people thought that, well, how are we going to reach our kids? How are we going to teach? But now this quote says here by Sager in 2020, this is what he said. He said, while virtual accommodations may pose challenges, he suggests that virtuality opens enormous new frontiers. And I believe that to be true. So in order to be able to do this effectively, it's important that they understand what accommodations are and what they're not.
So looking at the different types of accommodations, like Tyler was talking about, we have 4 different types. So presentation, and we have some of them listed: closed captions, text to speech, speech to text, and there's so many that fall underneath that category. And that's just how the kids are getting the information. Response, so speech to text or voice recognition software, and a lot of different softwares have this embedded. Word has it embedded. We also have Cami that has it embedded. There's so many things that have it with it that we just weren't really aware of before. Like, we knew they were there, but now with virtual, we've really been able to say, well, use this, and the kids, it's a second nature now. They know it's there. Setting, so whenever we're actually in the classroom, special seating, maybe they're closer to the teacher's desk, maybe they're farther in the back. Visual supports, testing a separate location that comes in major whenever we do an end of the year testing or high stakes testing with ACT, things of that nature. Virtual breakout rooms. So in a lot of our online things, like at my district, we use Google Meets majority of the time, and we have virtual breakout rooms where we can either hand select kids who go into different rooms, which is amazing for us with special ed kids, or they can be random, which it also can be really good too, because they're forced to make to be able to utilize those accommodations in their own way. And whether it might be that they mute themselves and use their voice to text, or just there's so many opportunities and options. Visual supports. And then the 4th one is timing and scheduling. So extended breaks, frequent breaks, extended time, visual timers, breaking assignments into smaller tasks, chunking it, email, calendar invites for reminders. That's a big thing with my kids at the beginning of this school year. Whenever we came back and we were all virtual, I created calendars, and they had the days and then the time slots for each lesson, which each class and when they were going to be there, when they were going live, and just stuff like that. That sounds so simple, but it makes the world of difference. Yeah. And so these are all various types of accommodations. And then after finishing this, we were just, reflecting on our time. And, as educators, we're also lifelong learners, and just having this opportunity to create something that is a needed component for a lot of teachers, especially right now. And also just thinking about it broader and looking at everything and what we need to learn and what we can do better. Whenever all this started in the spring, we were just kind of thrown into it, just figure it out. Let's get through the rest of this year. And then this year, I feel like we've been able to really look at it in a manner of what do we need to do better and what did we do that worked, and learning from mistakes and figuring it out, and just having that knowledge base. Because I think that for me especially, I work with high school kids, and having things that are put into their wheelhouse, things that they can use in their tool belt, is amazing. And just those simple things like the speech to text for a lot of our kids who are poor spellers and poor readers and poor writers, that's just, it opens up so many opportunities. And even, I see some of them utilizing those opportunities, like those options in social settings. They're using it with text messaging now or emailing. It's just, there's so many things that they've been able to learn in this tech world that we're in now. And it's just been really empowering. There's been a lot of struggles, of course, and a lot of things that we're still pinpointing and fixing. But all the things that we have learned have been just amazing. And I've seen this with kids that are in our unit, kids that are out in the classroom, just everyone. Now, for our research and our resources, we created these QR codes that you can scan, and it'll take you to them, the Google Doc, and you can actually go, and it'll have a hyperlink as well to take you to the actual resources and the research. And some of the resources we found was, one of them was it was based off of actual grade levels and had content options for how to embed these accommodations in there. Some really good stuff. A lot of the research we did as well is really current, because this is, it was a big deal whenever we had to go all virtual. So a lot of the research is, 2019, 2020, some of it, I don't believe we have any 2021, but I mean, it's, real-time stuff that's happening. So that was really powerful as well, that we were able to find things that connected to the here and now. And then I found this quote, and I thought it made a lot of sense, especially whenever we went to all virtual. "Four walls don't make a classroom. A teacher, students, and a love for learning makes a classroom." And for me, looking at my kids and seeing everything they've been able to accomplish through all this and what they've learned about themselves, what I've learned about myself as a teacher, and the lengths we're all willing to go through to make this work and to figure it out, is just amazing. And a lot of these kids that whenever we went on all virtual, we lost that physical connection, just being able to see each other every day. But whenever we came back, it's just like everybody picked up where we left off. And it's just, it's nice. And it's one of those things that even with the virtual, we've been able to see ways that we can make it work regardless, and they know what to do if that were to come to it. And here's our contact information. There's my email and Tyler's email. And also we worked with Denny Paul May through KVEC with our micro-credential, and he was a huge help and, resource for us throughout all this. Tyler, do you have anything to add?
No, that was great. I love that quote. Just like you said, it doesn't matter where you're at. Learning can take place, whether online, virtually, hybrid, or, in person. And we've had to be real creative with how we've taught. And I'm just hopeful that this micro credential could help somebody grow in their teaching and learning, and help them to become better educators.
Me too. So thank you all very much, and we'll have everything attached in our micro credential as well to be able to access it.